Well, sorry for being a Debbie Downer today, but something seems to be in the water in Vancouver on this bright and, okay, admittedly not so bright, cold Sunday evening. Folks are freaking out, panicking, and criticizing about the Vancouver Canucks and one very particular name. And I wanted to dive into some of that. Dive into what Adam Foote said earlier this morning as well in regards to roster moves for tomorrow's game, and just dive into where overall market sentiment seems to be on this hockey team. To help us out, let's go over to one of the biggest voices in the market, Jason Brough of Halford & Brough, formerly on TSN, currently on Sportsnet. Brough had a series of tweets that I thought were pretty interesting to dive into, and a number of replies, online arguments, you can say, that also encapsulate much of how this fan base is feeling on this December 26th. Brough said this partway through the Canucks and the San Jose Sharks game, that in which happened yesterday, that in which the Canucks lost. The Canucks are 4-11-1 at home. They ended up losing San Jose. They were losing by 2 and getting shut down by the worst offensive team in the league. All of their highly paid veterans are playing. That is great, isn't it? A hybrid rebuild with this group is insanity, especially for the goalie who can't stay healthy. There's not a single game breaker under contract. No true number 1C. No true top winger. No true 1D. Good luck with the hybrid rebuild. This tweet had 120,000 views on Twitter yesterday, 970 likes, and 120 replies. Obviously, you could guess where all of the sentiment is going towards. Rick Dhaliwal also said the Canucks are 4-11-1 at home this year after losing to San Jose. That's embarrassing, Dhaliwal said. Now, this is where we talk into whether or not a hybrid rebuild actually does exist. You could very well say it does not. You could also talk about trading Elias Pettersson, a conversation that I think has bubbled up even more over the past few days. We've made a bunch of videos already discussing what a Pettersson trade return could look like, or whether or not it's actually possible the guy gets traded. But you also had some other arguments from fans going out there and criticizing the idea of the media and their spin on this. You can see that Brough got into a pretty big, I don't want to use the word flame war, but it's kind of an argument back and forth on Twitter earlier this morning. You are clueless, he goes out there and tells Todd Naslund. But anyways, when it comes to the Vancouver Canucks, I mean, this has been a pretty bad few days. Brough's going out there, in his own words, having social media tantrums, and this all comes to culminate at this point right here. Rick Dhaliwal, of course, tweeting out that the Canucks 4-11-1 at home. That's a really bad record. Steve-O replied saying this: Canucks fans are as bad as the team. They're calling for a tank, they're getting a tank, and now they're pissed off about it. You can't make this stuff up. And of course, this idea that Steve-O is presenting is calling out folks in the media or in the fan base that are saying, oh yeah, the Canucks should rebuild. They should go down the tank. They should tear it down. They should do this. They should do that. They should whatever. But then when they lose, fans are getting pissed off about it. Seems double-sided, but this is where the discrepancy lies. The reason Canucks fans are upset about it is because they're not actually trying to tank. Based off of the way they've presented themselves in the media, based off of the interviews, based off of the reports, it does seem like Vancouver is willing to take a step back for 1 or 2 years and then try to be competitive. And whether or not you think they're actually good enough to do that with this core of prospects and players that are on the roster right now, that's your prerogative. But that is absolutely not the same as a quote-unquote rebuild. For what it's worth, Allen says they clearly are tanking, but they can't say it outright. They're going to trade their pending UFAs and lose more games. Fans are getting what they want, and they're still complaining. Steve isn't wrong, Allen said. To which Brough goes out there and says trading pending UFAs isn't a tank. It's just common sense when you're in last place overall. A tank goes so much further. What do you want to see? I want to see a number of vets who are under contract get moved out. I want a clean slate. Van Can says Demko, Marcus Pettersson, Höglander must be traded. At least 2 of DeBrusk, Drew O'Connor, Besser, and Garland. Every single UFA, Myers, Hronek. That's like half the gosh darn team. You'd be playing with Abbotsford at that point. But then again, if that guarantees Gavin McKenna or Ivar Stenberg or whomever else, you could probably say that that's actually not a bad idea. And speaking about that Jake DeBrusk, this is an update that we had seen from Jeff Patterson on Twitter. Adam Foote confirms Jake DeBrusk will sit out tomorrow in Seattle. And that is absolutely not the update that any of us saw coming here. The Vancouver Canucks are going to be healthy scratching DeBrusk? Oh boy. Adam Foote went out there and confirmed it. DeBrusk also shared his thoughts on the decision as well. He says it's embarrassing. If we go out here and check out this Canucks Army article from David Quadrelli, this is where Foote went out there and spread his message. We had a good talk with Jake. He had a lot going well for him, just couldn't get it in, and then he's been a little bit stale as far as chances go 5v5. I think it's going to be a good reset for him. DeBrusk said this, it's embarrassing. I mean, anytime you miss a game, yeah, it's embarrassing. I'd be wrong if I wasn't saying I'd be pissed off right now, but I understand. And I need a jolt too. I obviously haven't been good enough. Anytime that you're in this position, it's a lot of things. So, I gotta control what I can do from this point forward and just worry about me. I think there's a lot of different things. The good thing about the situation, in my previous times being scratched, is that you have a clean slate. So I care less about what has happened. He said that he's been known his whole career as a 5-on-5 contributor, and that has not come. It's been probably the most frustrating year of his career so far. By far. So, eventually you just gotta do the right things and do the right details and gotta get to your landmarks, get back to your ABCs. I think that's what this is about too, for me. And eventually they'll go in. Usually I have a hot streak, but it seems like this year there probably isn't gonna be one. So you just gotta be more consistent day in, day out. You gotta mature in this spot. You gotta be a pro. And hope the guys can pull out a win. So, Jake DeBrusk, healthy scratch. Some of the folks in the comments section are saying, yeah, I think a lot of these guys are playing like they want out. Last night's loss is the type of game that when it repeatedly happens, it's what will change the mind of guys. I'm not advocating running guys out of town, but the prudent move would be to try and move one out of these longer contracts. Garland is probably the most attractive one, but Jake DeBrusk would be the best one to move long term. Hey, Brock Besser, he's also in that conversation. Based on his comments from re-signing last minute, I can see him wanting to be here regardless of the situation. If he approaches the team about moving, sure, but I don't really see that being a thing. So there are some folks on the subreddit going out there and sharing their thoughts. Ultimately, it's a pretty bad day, I'd say, for Canucks fans, feeling all this negativity just spewing in through the internet. Tommy went out there and said this on Twitter: if Elias Pettersson turned out as we had all hoped, the Vancouver Canucks would actually probably be in their Stanley Cup window right now. And for many years to come as well. And I'm not going to disagree with that sentiment too. If Elias Pettersson was just a 100-point player, then I think the Vancouver Canucks timeline would be so different, and the team would be in a much better place. Oh, it's so simple to say that, isn't it? If he was just good, the team would be good. Oh, yeah. Really game-breaking analysis there, Lego. I get it, but still, there is some truth behind that sentiment. And now, with fans clamoring for an Elias Pettersson trade, with Jake DeBrusk getting healthy scratched, with folks on the media all freaking out about the Canucks and their losing record, and the team's unwillingness to rebuild, it has been a fire tire. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below about the Vancouver Canucks and how everything's gone down today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.